So going back to the last video of me moving out of the house for the first time and then back in. Now, mind you, all I said was bye. I made sure that the person that came to get me was like at a distance. I did not allow them to meet because my mom has this thing where she will criticize anybody's physical appearance, and it frustrated the shit out of me my whole life because people that I thought were beautiful in spite of their perceived flaws, she would like point out their flaws and like nitpick at every little thing from the like darkness of their skin to whatever. So like, when you're like really 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 dark in, the melanated community, like there's a lot of colorism that goes into that. And I remember in the previous video where I actually mentioned like that I wasn't as like I my shade wasn't any different than my sister's. And I realized that that might make people look at me funny. I've been inside a lot lately. And yeah, I've been inside a lot lately. So, because I've had so much fucking work to do, which is why I'm trying to rush through cranking out these freaking videos so I can think about something else. But I've been inside more than usual because of that. And so, yeah, moving on. Anyways, yeah, it would be nitpicky. And then, she'll deny it. Trust me, she'll fucking deny it. But, like, that's what I grew up with. And, colorism was a really big issue back in, like, the 90s and the early 2000s. And, like, this is what I grew up with. And it's just like, we have people of every shade and every body shape in my family. So I always hated it when I made friends that were like not super skinny like I was at the time, because I was nothing. I was not tall, and I was super freaking skinny, and I was well underweight because we rarely ever had food. And so yeah. And I could eat more than anybody in a room. I ate enough for probably about 10 football players whenever I did eat. Because if it was a place where I could eat as much as I wanted, I would eat as much as I wanted. I have gone to an all you can eat buffet multiple times with multiple friends that were, bigger than I was, and I would eat more than them and their family combined. And their family was bigger than I was too. And I did it because I didn't know how much I was going to be able to eat if I left. And on top of that, I was fucking hungry, so I was eating my fucking fill. I wasn't walking out of there unless I had to unbutton my pants. Just saying. And yes, I did sneak food out too, because I always carried, like, after a certain point, I always carried a purse, which I used to hate doing, but after a certain point, I had to. And so, yeah. I ended up lost. But yeah, body issues. I was not healthy at the skinny rate that I was, and people always perceived that as healthy, and so it was ridiculous. And then of course I would get made fun of because I was busty, uncharacteristically busty for somebody as skinny as I was, and it didn't make sense to anybody, and everybody pointed it out. Even when I was like wearing baggy clothes, that's why I didn't hug guys, because I had one I'm pretty sure he was gay though. But I had one friend that was a guy hug me, and they're like, "Wow, you're bustier than you look." And I was like, "Well, thanks. Now I'll never hug you again." Like, they didn't mean anything negative by it. They were just surprised. But I made a note not to hug too many other people that I like wasn't that comfortable with. So I had like two other guy friends that I would hug at the time, and three technically, but one had graduated, so I didn't see him again until later. Um, so yeah, moving back to that. So yeah, I was really thinking that she was writing for me at that time. Like, she not only like went up there to get me, came back down, but went and took me back up to get my stuff. Now, mind you, I left behind a whole hell of a lot of stuff. And me being a Taurus, aside from me just being a Taurus and being material, I had an unhealthy attachment to my stuff because I was always forced to move away from every person that I ever liked. And so I needed my stuff. It was the only thing that I could guarantee would be around so long as I remembered to take it. So it was all I could control. It was the only control that I had in anything. And even then, I couldn't take everything with me. And so then, going back to Christmas. But yeah, my siblings were just like telling my mom that they needed to hurry up and clean their room when I went to visit. And, before I got there so that I didn't see that their room was messy so I didn't get on to them about it. Now, if that doesn't tell you that I was parentified, I don't know what does. Because they weren't doing it while she was there. They were saying that they needed to do it before I got there. And then when I got there for Christmas, I think I already said that part, I asked her if she liked the dude that I was with because I was ready to just call it quits. I was looking for a reason to call it quits because I just wasn't feeling it anymore. And that's the unfortunate thing about being raised the way that I was, where I'm like not secure in creating boundaries between me and other people. When I am done and I'm not feeling it anymore, I let them convince me to fucking stay because it's just like, why are you giving up? Why are you gonna just give up on the relationship? And mind you, these people treat me the exact same way as my mom. They tell me that I don't remember things correctly. They try to stop me from being any sort of independent of them. Because, what the fuck else was they gonna do? Because I moved to get away from her in with somebody else that's just another version of her. And so, yeah, I would end up locked in to shitty situations. And it's fine so long as I am doing stuff to where they're benefiting from it. But if I ever try to be like, hey, now that you got everything that you need, it's my turn to get what I need, and then it's just a problem because I wanted to be independent of them, and then it's just oh, you're trying to get rid of me or whatever the case is. It's no, I just don't want to have to rely on you because anything could happen. So if you cease to exist tomorrow, I still need to be able to function without you. And it's funny because after I had moved, she wanted me to move back down to Florida to live with my aunt until while my aunt was getting a job so that my aunt could get me a job so that I could work at the new Harry Potter thing, because that was back when the Harry Potter thing was new. And they're like, oh yeah, if you go down there, then you can get a job and a car. And I talked to her about it for days. And then all of a sudden she brought up oh yeah, and I'm sending your sister with you. And I was just and then you can get an apartment together and you guys can just do everything together. And it's just the whole point of me doing all of this was to get away from family. I need a space between me and all of you. I love you guys, but I can't be in the same vicinity because it's driving me fucking crazy. I absolutely hate you when I'm in the same room, but I can love you when I'm not. And so yeah, then visit for Christmas. She says that she likes the guy, and I'm just okay, so I'm the problem. Then I ended up going back. She had to come get me to rescue me. And then shit gets annoying all over again to where she's bugging me all the damn time. All you ever do is, oh, da da da, I have to keep up with all of this stuff, and my kids are useless and messy, and all of this stuff, blah, 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 fuss, 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 scream, 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 harass, harass, harass. Oh, but I don't need to get a job, and I don't need to be in a rush to get out of the house again. And I was okay, I was thinking, because she's oh, you need to save your money and just get some time. And I was I can't save money if I'm not making any. And all of that stuff. So then I was just okay, obviously you're not going to be of any help because you keep coming up with excuses and try just running me around in fucking circles instead of telling me whether or not you're going to help. You could just say fucking no. You could just say, fuck you, I'm not going to help you. That's the end of it. I don't give a fuck about you and your shitty ass life. Get the fuck out of my face. That's all you had to fucking say. But because they can't just say it out their mouth, that's how it goes.